also brief descriptions of each item. For example, on this listing for female breasts, we're told that a solid separate and may contain dye,
I'm live on YouTube.
or tumors. Scrolling down further, you can read comments left by past customers.
What do I do now? Just
reviewing
kidding.
male
I know
eyes
exactly what I
photos.
gotta do.
One user,
Trace my
"These look
hands.
beautiful, fresh and not
That's
dry."
rotoscoping, baby.
Other eyes look like they were either scraped out with a fork or smashed in transit.
Just gotta trust the process.
Another side. I acquire cadavers for our medical school and surgical departments in Guadalajara.
I feel like this mic is too sensitive.
Equipos have always provided
It's picking up all my wrist movements on the keyboard pad.
for the students. Each cadaver has a fascinating story to be figured out detectives.
Literally can hear everything.
The concept of a site selling dead
That
humans
might
on
be
the
annoying.
surface isn't actually
We'll find
safe
out.
over there. Though most countries consider human remains to be controlled material, in the US, body brokerage is legal in almost every state, provided the specimens are donated willingly and not being sold for organ harvesting. Unfortunately, many people who agree to leave their remains to science end up in the hands of brokers who sell them for profit. And while some do get sent to med schools, others are bored with garden hoses and sold to people with questionable intentions. As Boston College law professor Ray Madoff told Reuters, "We know very little about who's acquiring these bodies and what they're doing with them." Indeed, by Equipos' own admission, they don't just sell these body parts to medical schools for training purposes, but to scientists, collaborators, and human body enthusiasts. So, in essence, anyone. Delving further into the site, you'll find the FAQ section, where the company explain their shipping and privacy policies, as well as covering some of the legalities in purchasing body parts. Though, crucially, they don't mention how they source their inventory. Given that certain items are listed as coming from 1970s Chile, some have questioned whether they could have come from victims of the Pinochet regime, under whom
Whoa.
Chileans disappeared. So, Equipos, an elaborate hoax, or a shady relic of the old internet? On the one hand, the prices for all of these body parts are unrealistically high. Though you can't put a price on a human life, a lifeless human goes for between $3,000 and $10,000 on the American market.
Why didn't those
Further,
delete?
on Equipos, they were
Go.
apparently being sold for $200,000. That's an immediate
See what
red
this
flag.
looks like.
On the other hand, there are ads at the top of the homepage, which link to third-party websites.
Take 3 hours to save this document.
These seem to be completely independent from Equipos.
For some reason it takes forever.
This one, for instance, called calresco.org, was established way back in 1998 and is still going strong today. This seems like a rabbit hole in and of itself, one dealing with the alien thought
Alright.
of complex systems.
Okay, I actually like that.
What does that have to do with Equipos?
That's
It's
satisfactory.
There don't seem to be any parallels between the two sites, other than the fact that one links to the other, of course. But there may be something in here that I'm missing. As you can see, Calresco is
Okay, I don't need those keyframes.
and labeled as not secure.
Fuck
So
this
I
up.
don't recommend going there yourself. I may look into this site in a future upload. But for now, let's head back to Equipos. On the right hand side of the site, you'll notice some endorsements left by previous customers, and one in particular stands out, made by a CT surgeon named Joel. Impeccable service, with quick and efficient shipping and no leakage. Well done, Equipos. Below Joel's name is a link to C1D1T1, a strange site run by Joel and his friends, Kenny and Dan, one which revolves around transhumans. Taking care of a body is expensive, inconvenient, and often embarrassing for the patient. Bodies decay, and a mind attached to a decaying one decays faster.
Yeah, you know what that looks
Many
like.
attempts have been made by brilliant scientists and quacks alike to provide relief for those patients who want to live independently of their non-functioning bodies. Our research into making physically compact, long-term cardiopulmonary bypass and continuous dialysis a reality may provide a viable solution where other techniques have failed. We're chronicling our lives and thoughts as we pursue our scientific goals using our bold expertise in mechanical engineering, microvascular surgery, cardiovascular physiology, and neuroscience.
You should put my mic on something to mute that sound.
Documenting Joel and Dan's progress.
Put little notepads under the feet.
A series of underground experiments with the ultimate
See if that works.
while keeping their blend fully functional. The scientists have experimented head transplants on animals with very limited success in the past. I'm not aware of any
It does a little
attempt
some.
to surgically create self-sufficient heads. Though in their first post, Joel and his team claim to have already had decent results practicing on rats. In an update made on September 30th, 2005, Joel explained that he had purchased a complete human specimen from equadbos.com.
My hairs on my hand look so gross. Close up.
Uploaded a video introducing everyone to Bernie, who he described as a 240-pound, hairy dead man. In the footage, Bernie is plonked unceremoniously on a sofa between Joel and Kenny as they discuss cryogenics and the movie Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, you work with, you can imagine a sharp device, you know, like blades cutting into the flesh and into the tissues. That's totally very special. Yeah, with the texture, you imagine a steak. You freeze a steak, it's thawed, freeze it, thawed, freeze it, thawed. Eventually, it's going to turn into munch. It's just all those sharp devices cut the tissues, and it's going to flow out, and it's just going to be like gruel.
The fuck?
In a follow-up video, Joel explains his plan to remove Bernie's head in preparation for experimenting on a live monkey. While doing so, his co-workers play a practical joke on him.
I'm not sure it's going to work. It can be a little ugly, especially if his skin's just a slab. Oh, Jesus!
The last major character to cover in this bizarre series of experiments is Hedy, the soon-to-be test subject. In a post titled, I Need a Monkey, Joel wrote about searching for a primate and linked to a website called Benny
Maybe my stomach is growling.
which allegedly sold exotic live animals for rearing, loving, or eating. He claims to have purchased Hedy the chimp from that site. Unfortunately for the Head Body Project, one of the group, Dan, became very attached to Hedy and began to question the ethics of their research.
Being a medical student,
Alright.
acting with
Me
it
too.
doesn't seem like the right thing to do. I think
Watch
that
it and see what it looks
cut
like.
things that just aren't alive.
And finally, on October 11th, Dan stalled him. And
Now I need
a week
to.
later, Joel and Kenny received an envelope. Inside was a film cartridge sent by Dan, confirming that he and Hedy were still alive.
Actually, I need to.
So, a ridiculous chain of events, lashings of early 2000s humor, a body that seemingly breathes, and a chimp giving the most convincing performance. This whole thing screams hoax. Oh, and that website where Joel supposedly purchased Hedy from, Benny Agra? There's a commercial featured on that site, and I'll let it speak for itself.
Extend that a bit.
You will receive the animal in 30 days or less.
Truly Oscar-worthy. Now, you're probably wondering, if this was all an elaborate hoax, one which involved creating multiple websites, making regular updates, and hiring a primate, what were the creators hoping to achieve? Well, the final update to appear on C1D1P1, made on October 20th, 2005, kind of gave the game away. In it, Joel snarkily remarked that MTV had stolen their idea and linked to a website, The Head and Body, a miniseries created in partnership with Motorola, consisting of 8 movies designed to be watched on your mobile phone, if you can imagine something so futuristic. After the success of the Blair Witch Project in the late 90s, many companies tried to emulate their guerrilla marketing strategy, making use of this new internet thing to creatively promote their products. Following suit, MTV employed the Night Agency to generate buzz for their new miniseries, and they in turn came up with the dark triad of Equadbos, C1D1P1, and Benny Agra. So now I can say with 100% confidence that I haven't shown you anything that reaches YouTube's guidelines, and that this was all just another unsuccessful attempt at early viral marketing. A failed MTV ARG. Yeah, unfortunately for everyone involved, the show went largely unnoticed. Not a single comment was ever made under any of the blog entries, and the entire project fell into obscurity. Between 2006 and 2007, all three of the hoax websites were taken down. Though in the case of eCuerpos, its domain lived on. When examining the site's data archive, some of the links from 2006 have suspicious titles, so I'm assuming after eCuerpos was abandoned by MTV, a different reader, or the enthusiast, repurposed the domain. Those archive links don't work anymore, by the way. Don't ask me how I know that. One of the things I appreciate most about my work is flexibility. Being able to set my own schedule, work when I'm most productive, and not waste time on tedious tasks. That's priceless. The less time I spend on things like running errands or waiting in line, the more time I can focus on what really matters. And that's why I use the sponsor of today's video, Stamps.com.
No
That
ads.
gives me complete control over my...
No thank you.
The weird side of YouTube, home to some of the strangest videos ever uploaded to the internet. In her twisted hall of fame hide countless uncanny clips. Ones that have stuck in our minds, played on fears we didn't even know we had, and sparked dark theories that persist to this day.
Hope I didn't waste time making those long pauses animated.
First uploaded to the Renaissance Men channel in
It'll fit in
2005
somehow,
under the title Freaky
even though I have no idea what I'm doing.
Soup went largely unnoticed. That is, until 2014, when it was re-uploaded by Maintenance Tunnels, with the name we all know today. For those who've been living in their own blank room for the past decade, the video features a man sitting at a table, slurping from a bowl of soup with an oversized spoon. As he eats, two costumed figures, with blank expressions and large heads, silently approach him and pat his back, seemingly offering him comfort. Suddenly, the man begins sobbing.
Like, who's watching me, dude?
The video then abruptly ends.
I see you. You're there.
Clocking in at just 1,000,006.
Probably reposition
The
this.
upload more closely resembles an extract from a snuff film than anything else.
That's better.
Something about the video just felt wrong.
What's
And I
up,
was
viewer?
stressed. The silent figures too unsettling. The room too blank. The
How
plot
are
too
you?
unseasoned.
It's been a
It
while.
didn't take long for viewers to start speculating about
You haven't
its
called me.
The most popular theory being that the
I
video
got
was
married.
sourced
I
from so-called
had a few
Reddit
kids.
sites on the dark
We really
web
should
where paying
catch
customers
up
can watch
sometime.
people be tortured
Me and you.
typically in real time.
I missed
Those who
you.
believed that theory speculated that the man was being forced to eat human
lot.
remains, possibly those of his wife and children, and that this was set to be his last meal before meeting his own demise.
I'm actually making this whole
Others
thing.
suggested
It's
the
all
man
for
was
you.
being force-fed until his stomach ruptured. Others still speculated that this was a recording from some underground
I hope you like it.
experiment. Discussion groups and forums dedicated to explaining the video proliferate, and more and more
Alright,
people
see how that pause
started
looks.
uncovering the meaning behind the clip, the fate of the soup eater, and the identities of his costume tormentors. As for the costumes themselves, many websites claimed, and indeed
That one's not very long, huh?
that nobody knows who these characters are meant to resemble.
That's okay.
But that simply isn't true.
I can add more frames later.
Characters created by Raymond Percy, an animator, artist, and occasional voice actor who played Flash the Slot in Zootopia. The humanoid Ray Rays
Goes up
were
again.
originally based on doodles
Okay.
Percy created, and he often used these suits in
Now you can watch him do the fun
with
tracing
strong
part.
themes of alienation, inhibition, and the deep-seated need to entertain.
I don't need
In
that.
fact, they sometimes served as the visualization of Raymond Percy's innermost thoughts and feelings, hence why he called them Ray Rays.
Don't look at my neck fat that I somehow acquired.
Exchange with the Rainbow. Percy explained that after a performance in Hollywood, 2 of his Ray Ray costumes mysteriously went missing.
Just kidding.
Someone from his audience had waited until after the show to steal them.
I'll just bring attention to it instead.
Years later, he claims to have received a disturbing news with a
Well,
big attachment. That being blank room soup. Percy was of course disturbed by what he saw. Someone, somewhere, had taken his characters and used them for something deeply unsettling. And thus, he decided to upload the video to his YouTube account, Renaissance Bear, giving it the title Freaky Soup Guy, in the hopes that his community might be able to figure out what was going on. As Blank Room Soup gained more attention, more videos began appearing.
What?
A second video, titled Soup Torture, surfaced.
It's not what it looks like, I swears.
The format was similar. The same man eating soup in the same blank room, with the same silent Ray Ray figures standing ominously in the background. But this time, something different happened. I'm sure most of you agree there's something off about this second.
You gonna say hello or not?
Put simply, it feels
You don't
less
have to,
authentic
but
than the original. Why would the costume
I've just
figure
been
look
sitting here all alone for so long. I've been waiting for you to show up to come say hi to me.
And why did it look like he wasn't going to follow through with a strike?
My one magnificent
Stop when the
viewer.
bridge fell? If so, why did the man begin to let out a scream? Years later,
I love you either way.
2023 respectively.
And I appreciate you being here
Full service.
with me
Quick look at
on this very exciting art journey in which I push boundaries and my limits. That there, sight. My lines look thinner.
So part 4 is just your generic found footage film. Nothing fancy to go over there. But part 3 is where this series truly jumped the shark. It shows one of the Rays manhandling a new victim. Thing is, the loosely tied up figure in this clip is quite obviously Gil Sharon, a member of the band Stolen Babies. The same band that Raymond Percy's sister, Dominique Percy,
Next frame.
vocalist of. The same band that have featured Ray Rays in their music videos. Yeah, the odds of Raymond Percy not being involved in the
Next
creation
time I
of
do a
Lost
project where I'm doing
sit somewhere around the 0%.
rotoscoping,
Now, that doesn't
I'm not
necessarily
doing
mean
it
that
this
he was
long.
the first to do this. After all, he may have just been contributing to the mystery, using his own friends and extra costumes.
this is some
It's that
tedious
possibly
work.
all were staged. So,
But that's animation for you,
how likely is it that the original is fake?
and it is quite rewarding.
In my opinion, the answer is more than you might assume. I think it is obvious that Percy
It's a
made up
funny
his own
little
feature
body
length
part there,
of
right?
stolen railway suits, and that he did indeed create the original Blank Room Soup video himself. However, I honestly don't think his initial intention was to stage a Red Room style mystery, but rather to express his inner turmoil through art. In his own words, Percy often used the railways to visualize and have fun with his feelings.
You a
of
cop or
loneliness
something?
and
Are you
isolation.
watching me? You the
With
feds?
that in mind, I believe Blank
What's
Room
going on
Soup
here?
shouldn't be interpreted
I'm not doing
literally,
anything weird.
but metaphorically. A sad, anonymized
It's just
man
seltzer water.
eating alone in a blank,
I'm not drinking straight vodka.
lit, windowless room. That's surely the
My
most
degenerate days are over.
expression of loneliness and isolation one can imagine.
I'm an upstanding citizen now.
The Ray Rays aren't supposed to be the man's captors mocking him, but rather the physical representation of his emotions.
You do believe me, right?
His tears only begin once they touch him. And if you listen closely to the
Good.
video,
Thank you.
you start to get the sense that the man isn't just
I always knew you had my back.
one might from fear, but rather cry laughing, like one might during an emotional release. but Percy, known for his dark and playful creative style, uploaded Blank Room Soup under the much less ominous title Freaky Soup Guy back in 2005, intending for it to be interpreted artistically. However, when his viewers commented that the video was actually creepy, he leaned into the eeriness and created a second piece in 2007 that was far more straightforward and, frankly, much less convincing. Though some claim that's impossible because these two clips were filmed at the same time, you can actually tell that some time has passed between them. For instance, notice how the plug sockets in the back change slightly between the two clips, and how the man's hair is styled slightly differently. In 2014, someone then re-uploaded the original to the Maintenance Tunnels channel, where, again, it was taken at face value by
Should I draw every single one of my
the
hairs?
video gained widespread attention.
Okay, well.
When sleuths finally traced the Ray Ray mascots back to Percy, he saw an opportunity to indulge in his dark and playful side once again, and fabricated the stolen suits network to build an
Jesus Christ, how long would that take? Holy shit.
and cementing its status as an infinite mystery.
Probably take me a couple hours.
Parts 3 and 4. Perhaps to
Max.
bring attention to his little sister's band. Perhaps just to have some fun. So, although I don't think the original video began its life as a hoax, in a strange way, it morphed into one over time. You may not agree with my interpretation of the Blank Room Soup video. It's no problem. But given that it was originally uploaded to Raymond Percy's personal YouTube channel, using his characters, and was followed by a video featuring his friend,
Well, my thumb is in the exact same spot.
wasn't sourced from the dark web, and was in fact created by the artist himself.
Wow.
And if you don't agree with that,
Wow.
then I urge you to go back to blankroomsoup.avi and take a closer look at the man with anonymized eyes. And while you're there, simply compare him to a photo of Raymond Percy. On April 3rd, 2017, a post appeared on 4chan's politically incorrect board, simply titled, "How Deep Are You Into Conspiracies?" Attached was a Galaxy Brain tier list, with each section containing entries related to government cover-ups, forbidden knowledge, and secret organizations. But buried beneath the more absurd topics about time-traveling assassins and North Korean utopias was an inclusion that caught everyone's attention. The 2006 volleyball incident.
Bam. Bam.
One commenter responded, "I've only met one person IRL, and 2 people online who know about that." And when others began to ask about what the incident was, OP elaborated. "Here's what I know firsthand. There was a small explosion or mass shooting at a volleyball game.
You ever listen to Lazy Masquerade on
It was
YouTube?
never specified.
It's a fun
I
channel.
know that sounds like BS.
That's what we're listening to now.
I was on a trip to Rushmore back then. And
You know, it's like true crime sometimes. Oh, who am I kidding? Of course you know who Lazy Masquerade is. You're on YouTube.
Again around Kadoka. Says there was a
What was
shooting
I
in
thinking?
Same state. By the time I leave, I hear little talk about it. Only once during local breakfast. When I get home, I ask my friend what he thought about the whole thing, and he remembers it taking place in
Maybe you haven't.
It stayed in the back of my mind for a long time, until I
It's been a while since we've seen each other, so
One day I remembered, and joked about it during a gaming session. And these 2
maybe
guys
you like
told me
all new things.
they had the same experience too. And I remember on the X board, someone talking about something similar to the volleyball
Wait,
incident.
what the hell?
So I just stuck it in this image, hoping someone would remember. 17 to 24 people died at once, and no one talks about it. After that post, discussions
Yeah, that
about
works,
the 2006
right?
volleyball incident spread to the paranormal board, Reddit, and other various forums. People began searching old news archives and combing through local.
It's kind of
papers,
hard to make out the
looking for information
definition
about
of some of this.
But the deeper they dived, the less they found. Not a single record, article, or witness statement. The event simply didn't exist. And yet, more and more people were stepping forward, claiming to remember reading or hearing about it back in 2006.
Okay,
This was a new example
that
of the Mandela effect. A
that little
phenomenon
detail right there.
perhaps one they had confused with the Black Canyon high school crisis. But others had a far darker.
Hey, let's watch this real quick.
The 2006 volleyball incident had happened, but was intentionally erased from history. A government operation in a small town, covered up so thoroughly that no traces remain. As one discussion on the X board read, how does one live after taking the red pill on the 2006 volleyball incident?
Fuck, I'm almost there.
Tell me in, Anons. What happened? Well, supposedly, a gunman shot and
Then I gotta do the coloring, and then I gotta do the white background behind the transparent hands.
Everything was covered up, and it was never reported in
What
the
am I
press,
doing?
and it's been forgotten about by everyone. If you were there, and say you remember...
Those are the easy
14
parts,
people
though.
died,
This is the hard part.
you're labeled crazy, etc. Personally, if this did happen, I wonder if they had someone in mind that they wanted to kill, and the others were just unfortunate bystanders. But we'll never know.
I wonder if I should add more time between that one.
It was the sketch of a creative life at the time. For years, discussion about the 2006 volleyball incident was confined to small online communities. This
Whatever. We'll draw it out. Add more frames if need be later.
June 24 video, Mutahar was exploring a thread on the image board, Trash Chat, when he stumbled upon a set of disturbing images.
Actually, I should clear up some space. Do a little house cleaning here. Get rid of these unnecessary frames, because they take up space.
In a school gymnasium. Below
And resources
blood on the board,
on the computer.
haphazardly scattered around.
My computer's working hard enough as it is.
Spread out from the ground, and a blurred frame.
The fuck
with
just
the
happened?
words, CSR, not for release, plastered at the bottom.
Does it really work? Yeah?
At
Oh.
first glance,
Okay.
we're chilling. But with a little analysis, these images can easily be debunked. This first image gives us a decent look at the gymnasium where the incident supposedly occurred. Recognizing the wall pattern,
That one's for you.
and distinctive U on the board, a few users were quick to identify it as the Utica High School gymnasium. And crucially, Utica High School has never been the setting of a massacre. This is the only one of the 6 images that I'm convinced is even real. Not only do the other 5 photos lack the timestamp in the bottom left, suggesting they weren't even captured by the same camera, but upon closer inspection, they appear to be AI generated. Despite supposedly being from the same recording, there's zero consistency between them. They all have remarkably different saturation levels, and the court itself has a different texture in each frame. But let's go through them one by one in detail.
Whoop.
Starting with this image, the shapes lying on the ground barely resemble human beings at all, and the color of their outfits don't match those in the timestamp image. I'm assuming this is meant to be one of the players' heads, though I'm not sure what's going on with her distorted body, or this bizarrely long strand of hair. A similar black line can be seen in this next image, running along the same angle. It's presumably meant to be a court marking, but it leads nowhere. This was likely some sort of error, where the AI didn't know how to generate the markings, so it reacted to the prompt in the same way in both images. Then there's this other marking, which is strangely in focus compared to the rest of the picture. I mean, come on, what's even going on with the white markings in this photo? They're extremely wonky, overly distinct, and seem to somehow go over the bloodstains on the ground. Speaking of which, the bloodstain patterns themselves appear extremely fake. In this one, it even has that raspberry jam appearance that AI tools love to use. And while we're here, take a look at those legs. Not only is the perspective all wrong, but they all appear to be floating due to a lack of any shadows. Whoever generated this image also appears to have blacked out this bottom section, presumably because it looked too fake.
Is that the same knuckle?
Thus, they covered it with a CSI stamp. To create the illusion they were all captured on an old camcorder, the creator then slapped an unconvincing distortion effect over each image, almost certainly NTSC QT. In fact, you can see identical glitch lines running through most of them, confirming that this isn't an organic distortion. Considering these images never appeared online,
Another one down.
I think we can safely say that whoever posted them was playing into the rumors.
Take a small victory for that
Simply
one.
debunking these images doesn't prove that the 2006 volleyball incident never happened, but ultimately, there's no evidence it did. So, what seems more likely to you? That dozens of students were mowed down by CIA operatives for seemingly no reason at all, and that despite word initially
Oh,
getting out, the
forgot I gotta
government
delete
suppressed
that.
news of the incident and prevent the parents and friends of the victims from ever talking about it.
Gone Goozler. Goddamn.
Conceived by a 4chan anon who added it to their tier
What's
list
up,
as an
dude?
experiment.
Wait, who's Gone Goozler?
Baseless rumors.
Is it Davey under a new name again?
If you said the former, then it may be time
I'm
to
right,
switch
aren't
to
I?
the future and touch some grass.
Is it you,
This
Davey?
whole mystery is most definitely a hoax.
Why don't I
It's
remember
certainly
Gone
not the first
Goozler?
of its kind to originate on 4chan's Poleboard, a place where famous
It's not Davey?
trolls
Shit.
to troll
Steven?
trolls.
It's gotta be you, Richard.
The joke, if you can call it that, got about as much attention as Sophie could have hoped for. After rumors of the volleyball incident caught traction,
Sharon?
someone later faked these images to add to the mystery. With some semblance of legitimacy,
Who could Gongoozler be?
then added to
My
its
long lost friend, of course, right? I haven't seen you in so long.
and the
Where
whole
have you
thing
been? I missed you.
At its core, this is just a modern-day creepypasta. One that spread like wildfire online. Mainly because, as recent times have taught us, people desperately want to believe in hidden truths. Indeed, if there's one lesson we can and should take away...
Are you the one who's been watching the whole time?
It's that in this digital age, the scariest thing isn't necessarily what's been erased from history, but how we see it'll soon be.
Was it you?
That never even happened.
Oh, you're a new person? That's pretty cool. What's up, dude?
Established by Gulag prisoners in 1935 and located wholly within the Arctic Circle.
As you can tell, I'm having a blast over here. It's very exciting process. That's why I'm streaming it, because I know if people just watch me trace my hands, they'll get psyched and super pumped up. And then they'll want to go do their own project.
There are even reports of a so-called dead zone outside of the city, heavily impacted by acid rain, brought on by all of the sulfur dioxide that the Nornic...
So what's going on, Gongoozler? How's your day?
And yet, despite being in
Hopefully premium.
politically newsworthy,
Had a premium day full of good daily content.
not many of you have ever heard of Norilsk. And that may have something to do with the fact that it's a closed city.
I've been pretty good.
But if you would ever choose to holiday there, seeing how temperatures
Just
in
dealing
Norway
with
can fall below minus 30 degrees centigrade,
the anxiety that comes with being alive.
outsiders need a
Other than that, I'm cool, man.
And very few foreign journalists have ever been
Slowly chipping away at this
In fact,
project
The city's been closed off since 1956, when people first began questioning the high death toll among the Gulag
that I've
prisoners
spent
there.
a little too long on.
In its first 2 decades alone, at least 16,800 inmates perished while working in Norilsk mines, mostly from hypothermia, starvation, exhaustion, and itchy fingers and Kalashnikov triggers. Although
I'll show you what the...
access to the city still remains
I'll show
limited.
you what it is
And yet,
right now.
unlike with
Let me
many other
find...
places, if you go to Norilsk on Google Maps, you'll find that you have the option to enter Street View. And if you begin
I
exploring
don't know if I have...
rust-covered streets, you'll be met with a strange sight.
Alright, so here's the idea, but this isn't an updated
Walking around among
the whole thing.
peering around corners,
I've done more work on the latter half of it.
After a while, you start to get the sense that Norilsk
Let's
isn't an
see.
ordinary city at all.
Is it showing that monitor?
There's
Yes.
a good reason the Russian government won't let visitors enter.
Alright, you watching? It's really about nothing, by the way. I have no idea.
These bizarro Teletubbies might be. Theories ranged from these being the winter clothes of a local company to there being some sort of secret weapons facility in the city.
It all ties together at a certain
People
point.
grounded said that these were obviously just killer Sour Patch Kids. Others applied Occam's razor and said that the most likely explanation was that they were pranksters following the Google car around the city's main street, as many people have done in other parts of the world. There's just one problem with that. Norilsk has no Google HQ, no road leading to it.
So
and
that's
the Google
that.
Earth is the
It really
road
it's
to the city.
dumb.
Indeed,
Let me show you
Some
this
may have
part.
already noticed that these are
This is
some
where
of
I'm
the
at.
street
Oh
views.
shit, I don't remember which one it
A
is.
series of photos uploaded by a woman named Anna Tolkacheva. So, what's going on here? Well, a quick Google search of Anna's name tells us everything we need to know. She's a Russian artist. And these faceless
So it's gonna turn into like
on many projects.
Star Fox, but then they have a rock paper scissors
This
match
particular antic,
to settle the dispute,
color spirits.
so that the brain can separate from the body and the body can go do its own thing, I guess.
The express purpose.
I didn't start it with any intention, but now there is like an underlying
The nautical factory
meaning
is
someone can take from it.
and the surrounding tundra. Occasionally, one can see yellow smoke from the factory.
Did I not make a fool?
If you look at the surrounding tundra from the Sputnik maps, you can see red,
Maybe it's this one.
green, and yellow laces in several areas.
Oh, you know what Star Fox is?
It's a half-closed city, so it's hard to get in.
It's an old Nintendo game
Moreover, there are no Google Street
that
View, so
every...
you can't walk its streets, even virtually.
Where's the sound at?
Anna goes on to explain how she created her own street view of Norilsk. She walked around the city with a 360.
It's looking pretty cool. It's way cooler than what I set out for it to actually be.
Their cars
but
are
in
moving
making it
with
look
the
like
road,
that,
but also the color of the pollution belched out by their local
it's just
companies.
I'm relearning things and it's taking
The
forever.
history of the city's colorful residents is sold.
Here's what Star Fox is.
Government
I'll show you what I mean.
but rather an artistic statement against environmental destruction.
It's
Anatol Kochelka turned a city shrouded in secrecy
Give me a
and pollution into a
gameplay.
canvas, using the very tools meant to map the world to expose a place that resists being seen. And yet, even knowing the truth, no else remains
So you're
fascinating
you're
anymore.
behind the starship and you fly around and shoot shit.
Poisoned by industry and hidden from outside.
And then the final
It's
boss
a reminder of the
is
power
Andros, and he's like,
of
I'll
human.
show you.
And while Google may never capture its threats, Anna's power spreads ensure that at least for those who stumble upon them,
So he's just a big head with hands.
to ignore.
And as a kid, it was terrifying. So that's the inspiration for that, pretty much.
Sometime
A
around
joystick
2012
console?
or 2013,
In
a
Nintendo's.
disturbing clip was uploaded to the now defunct shop site, Best War,
A joystick console like an Atari?
which would come to be known
Are you an
as
alien?
One Gun, Five Shotguns.
You're not an alien, are you?
To those who saw it, the video depicted 5 white
It'd be really cool if you were.
standing in a field, each armed with a shotgun, none of them making any attempt to conceal their face. Their victim, a black male, was tied to a tree. The 5 monsters laughed amongst themselves as they took turns firing into the restrained air,
Honestly, so do I, dude.
and then a kneecap.
That's why we get along so well.
Until,
We both feel like
as the original
aliens.
title stated, his body was turned into ground beef. The executioners could allegedly be heard cheering.
Ain't nothing wrong with that,
Before
though.
the video abruptly cut to black. Though sometimes discussed
Okay, where's my
as
knuckle at?
reports, for years, the video
There it is.
remained nothing more than obscure internet hearsay. That is, until 2021, when it was briefly mentioned in a since-removed YouTube
Isolated in the north. Something like that, yeah.
uploaded by the since-terminated YouTube channel, Playview.
Some form of isolation, self-induced, though.
But given that it was featured in a lost media iceberg,
Partial,
whether it was
blah,
real
blah,
or
blah,
simply
blah,
another
skagabata?
internet myth. Despite its convincing
Partial
evidence,
isolation.
there's no concrete evidence that one guy, 5 shotguns.
Because I do have people around, luckily.
No screenshots, no archived links, no credible reports,
They look weird.
no proof whatsoever. The first known mention of the video came from the Frying Pan, who brought it up in the Blade Mock Discord server. According to him, he allegedly saw the video when he was 11 years old, but later admitted he may have misremembered something. This is where the idea of false memory comes into play.
Are you
People claim to have seen
Santa
Fox
Claus?
when they were younger. It's entirely possible that after hearing the details of a fictitious
You're not Santa Claus, are you?
confused it with some other gruesome video.
Just trying to think,
There are
like,
plenty of those
isolated in the
for
north.
purposes of the audience. One of the more likely
Kind of feels like an
is a
alien.
from a 2005 shockumentary in which a blindfolded man is tossed into a pit and torn apart by a firing squad.
Kira?
The outdoor setting
Kyra.
and overall brutality bear strong similarities to the room with the young
Kyra,
five
Kira.
shotguns. The two could have merged in people's memories, creating a distorted recollection of an event that never truly happened. So, is one guy 5 shotguns really?
Kira. Okay, that sounds cooler anyway. So you made a good choice there. Or your parents did, or
With many other lost
whatever alien parent named you.
and speculation, misremembered accounts, and internet
Could be a science experiment for all I know.
But even if one guy 5 shotguns is fake, plenty of real, horrifying videos do
That'd be
exist.
exciting, huh?
And I'll be getting to some of those in a future upload, very soon.
Like, here's a picture of my parents, and it's just like a scientist. Like an alien or something. An alien scientist.
Hey guys, Lizzie here, and thank you very much for listening. I'd like to say a huge thank you
The
to
video's
all
over? It's been 43 minutes?
over on Patreon,
Holy
especially my
shit.
biggest supporters. George Lopez,
Okay, this video is 4 hours and 41 minutes long. I will not be streaming for that long.
after a few minutes of deliberation, the group decided to go bowling together.
But I will be listening it
While they
to
set
the
up,
rest of the
Bob and
night.
stepbrother wanted to grab a bite to eat. Not having much disposable cash to begin with, and wanting to save the little they had for Christmas gifts, the pair opted to buy some Hot Pockets from a nearby store.
Have you been subbed to my channel, or did you just like click on it
J and B behind
and
the
you have
house.
no idea who I am?
Around that same time, Kevin Nelson was walking home after a get-together with some local friends. Hearing that his neighbors were
Say,
inside
do you have a
36,
random
37,
person?
Kevin wandered over and was due
Not
to
random
find
anymore,
himself
because
on
you
the
are Kira, you are you.
What happened next?
Oh, you have been subbed? Okay.
Worst nightmare.
But the idea of just like
Rough on his stepfather
seeing my
was
shitty
a
thumbnail and then
suspect
someone
of
clicking it
slaughter.
and then watching it is funny to me.
Window of time.
For
All
some
doors
reason.
broken loose inside 3636 Ogden Avenue. In the living room.
Okay, so you've seen like my old charcoal drawings I used to do then, probably.
Lying in pools of blood, both having been shot. One of them, execution style. The killer, or
Okay, the most successful stuff I was doing that I stopped because I just didn't want to anymore.
Jim, whose name's been withheld for his security. He had been shot through the neck, but was still alive. Little information.
Oh shit, my hand's out of the frame.
B. He either managed to escape the scene, or had left the house just before the slaughter began. But either way, the authorities don't
Whoa.
in the case.
That's a bad one.
7:58 p.m. Brock then called his father, Jerry John, and told him that
It's
Clark
way
was
up there.
Their father asked how he knew that. Brock replied, because he's in my arms.
How am I going to counteract that?
Thereafter, and pronounced the following DOA. Jay was rushed to a local hospital for treatment.
Alright, so I can call that the high point.
Around the crime scene, halting traffic in the neighborhood, and conducting a door-to-door canvass for information. Surprisingly, none of their neighbors heard or saw anything.
Whoa, shit.
Officers searched neighboring yards throughout most of the night, expanding their search until the morning hours.
I'm gonna have to chop this up.
Investigators remained on the property until Saturday evening, scouring each room for evidence. Several casings from a 9mm were collected for examination. A number of
Okay.
casings were identified.
This is gonna be really exciting.
Was found on the front door.
Alright, so that's gonna be the max.
Jay was thankfully in complete
Mark it
physical
brown
recovery, but told officers
for
that
chocolate.
He didn't recognize any of the intruders, nor had he ever heard any of their voices before.
Going to
He did, however,
erase
describe
these.
while he was smoking outside in the backyard, catching them off guard just before they stormed the property. He recalled they were demanding money, and then everything went
I
black.
forgot that one. Okay.
Investigators believe that at least one of the housemates, likely Kyle, was specifically
A dab
targeted
pen?
by these unknown assailants. They
Oh,
initially
no,
had a
that's
suspect in mind, too. One who lived
my
near the
drawing
Van
pen.
household. The
My
next
dab
one
pen's over there.
had a watertight alibi.
I'm gonna grab it because it looks
The Van
stupid.
Halen house had a reputation for being a party hut, and it was no secret that their friends would often go there to drink beer and smoke dope. This was never anything serious, and none of the housemates sold anything illicit.
Look how cool that
They
looks.
engaged in it recreationally. But South Ogden PD knew
Who you calling Pinhead?
might be worried about coming forward because of that. If someone would
I
be
am,
reluctant
partner.
to come forward because they participated in less serious offences, either at the home or with the victims.
I'm all vaped up, tell you the truth. Let's see, where's my other shit?
Do not let concern about a prior potential offence keep you from coming forward. We're not concerned about it, and neither should you be.
Okay, bro, so dude.
Despite their pleas for information, few presented themselves.
Fat clouds, bro.
4 days after the incident, the authorities released the most crucial and unsettling evidence that they had come across in a press release.
Are you like non-smoker or you like the flower itself more?
The first piece of footage shows the three suspects lurking in the darkness outside the Van Komen household. Suspect 1 appears to be a tall and slim man, dressed in a light-colored jacket.
What's your preference, dog?
A hat, and what's been described as a pink
What do you
vest,
like?
with a duffel bag slung over his shoulder and a gun in his hand. Suspect 2 wears a thicker, light-colored coat, dark snow trousers, a darker mask, and a backpack. Based on their stature and mannerisms, this could be a female, but let me know what you think down below. Suspect 3, seemingly another male.
A good
dark
job.
blonde hair, a plastic
Like-
mask, and what appears to be a light-colored neck gaiter or equivalent.
I mean, the only jobs that'll make you piss test now are federal jobs, maybe? Doctor?
Unfortunately, There are no timestamps to go along with any of these
You
reports.
could probably be an
So it's
engineer.
wondering how quickly the three masked invaders struck after Brock and his stepbrother left the scene. But the authorities have
I
since
guess,
stated
I don't know.
that the trio had
Driving a
been sneaking out
forklift,
of
they
the
probably
railroad
piss test.
tower before the incident.
But also I have friends that definitely smoke and still forklift operate.
Shows suspect one peering in through the property's windows, observing their soon-to-be victims moving.
Not that smart. Oh, come on. Don't say that about yourself. You always wanted to be an astronaut. And you forgot those dreams because you're telling yourself stuff like this. But you could be a space astronaut, Kira.
Suspect two joined suspect
You
one.
can. Highly intelligent. Don't fool yourself. It's ridiculous. If I can trace my hands over and over again, you can go to space.
Suspect
Even
two
if you don't want to go, you have to go to space. Back to space, should I say. Okay, let's see.
two boys make their way to the back of the property.
So the height will be there. And I'm going to have to make this one up. But first,
According to the police,
let's
the
watch
spy
this.
was captured shortly after Carl and Kevin had been slain. In it, we can see a vehicle drive down the road.
We'll see. That's how much color I have right there.
It's not clear whether this was Brock and his stepbrother returning from the store.
Ah!
A getaway
Of course this is going to stay there because it's a holding frame.
or a vehicle unrelated to the case. But law enforcement opted to include it in their press release, so it may be significant.
So the pause is there. That long one. Oops.
Seconds after the vehicle passes,
So I want to put like
fence,
something's going to happen there.
walks up and down the road. Places something inside his bag.
I just taught myself. Just watch a couple YouTube videos and start messing around with the program. I mean, this is like
And jumps back over the fence the way he had come.
the rotoscoping process I'm doing. Really, I feel like anybody could do
Law enforcement were hoping
once you
that
figure out the software
someone would recognize the
and
voices. And yet, nobody
you
did.
can tolerate doing the same thing over and over again.
As we can't find them, said Carl's mother, and they pinched.
But like,
They also expressed their gratitude. that
yeah,
Brock
freehand animation, it's a whole different thing.
We're very thankful that we didn't lose all three of our boys that night.
I'm pretty sure I posted
Since there are so few details,
anything I've animated on YouTube, so you've probably seen some of my other stuff.
This is a satellite view of the area where the crime unfolded. Running horizontally along the bottom is Ogden Avenue. And horizontally
I kinda
along the
like
top is
This
Avenue.
just says the lines on the
36th
white.
Street and 37th Street run perpendicular. Highlighted
I feel like I could
is
just post that and it'd be fine.
AKA the crime scene.
Call it a day.
Beside it is Kevin Nelson's property, 3630.
Yeah, Blender's daunting at first, but
The three videos were captured
once you get familiar with your surroundings inside of it,
looking at the first clip, camera 03 caught
it
the
becomes pretty fun.
3636 from behind a tree.
That's it. That's what I made that
People online
the
suggest
3D
this
part of
is
that
one
animation
these
on.
trees, but that's demonstrably untrue.
That's all Blender.
Is this area way too open? But you'll notice that the tree in the footage has a split in it.
We'll go
with
check
one
up on that
big
file
branch
real
sticking
quick.
from the trunk. Neither of these trees are a match. It's more likely that they were observing their targets from this wooded area behind the two houses.
So that's the scene.
Would have offered them far more cover than any trees by the roadside, and it makes sense that Kevin would have placed a camera at the rear of his property for protection.
I'm gonna turn off the denoising.
Going back to our
The
satellite,
viewport.
you may be able to notice that there's a 200-meter dirt track that runs between the houses on Ogden Avenue's north side and Adams Avenue's south side.
The best idea I had was figuring out how to animate
There wouldn't have been any surveillance cameras along it.
the world shading like that.
For a vehicle to drive through. They may have been dropped off at either side, or could have even parked
It's a pretty cool effect.
somewhere along the track.
You can pretty much animate every single aspect of it,
And then, effortlessly,
which I just think is so cool.
not only is he physically fit, but I believe that he and his accomplices
It's a very cool program.
closer to 20.
Don't save.
Now look at his mask.
And so is this one. Krita's great.
Ogden PD
And them in
describes it as a
conjunction,
football mask, but I can't help but wonder whether it's a hockey mask.
it's pretty good.
Given Carl's love for ice hockey, could this have been someone that he encountered on the rink? Camera O2's position is a lot more clear-cut.
Alright, how am I gonna do
On the left
this?
side of Kevin Nelson's property. In fact, you can see it right here. Notice how the drain pipe juts out in front of the camera, as it does in the footage.
Alright, we'll
The
do...
angle is also the same, focused on the right-hand side of 36.
Do you do drawing or anything?
In the footage, suspects 1 and 2 emerge from the back of the property, confirming, in my mind, that
You
they
would
were inside
drawer?
the house from the wooded area in the rear.
Cartooner,
Suspect
perhaps?
3 doesn't appear in the footage.
An artist of some
He or
sort?
she may have been the designated getaway driver and was waiting for the accomplices inside the vehicle. Jay also
The blurry
was
shit
held
is
outside the
just...
intruder in the backyard area. Suspect 3 may have been holding Jay there, whilst 1 and 2 spied through the windows.
Pencils are good.
The third clip shows suspect 1 jumping a fence after
I
his
like
left.
pencils.
The suspect's mask is
You
clearly
can quote me on that one.
and resting atop his head, giving us a very vague impression of his facial features.
Arknark.
Very bold,
He likes pencils.
stupid move. I've enhanced a few stills here, and though it's difficult to make much out, the suspect appears to have a large or long nose.
Tell you what, after tracing my hands so many times for that first part of the animation,
Stands around in an unsure fashion. I believe
I can now just freehand draw my hands in that position
following this,
rather
the three
quickly.
accomplices presumably escaped together. It's worth noting that US Route 89, a major
So
highway,
it's almost like drawing practice doing this,
and would have allowed
believe it or not.
to put some quick distance between themselves and the crime scene. But this is where things take a turn.
Highly recommend tracing.
You see, according to
Never thought I'd say that, but
this third video, like the other,
in this case,
had
it's
camera on Kevin
quite
Nelson's
handy.
property, 3630 Ogden Avenue. But I can prove that's not the case.
I'm not trying to show off,
Look
I'm
at
just,
these
you know,
small
saying.
horizontal windows that run along the lower portion of this building. Neither
That if
of them
everyone
are
traced,
shutters. Then there's
it's just like
this lighter section, juts
burning it
out
into your
dark
visual
blue
memory.
section.
God damn it.
The white paneling on this house with the camera, the roof shapes, the fence that the
Just
suspect
over and over and over again.
that runs between the two houses, this dry bush-like feature, the tire tracks, the position of the homes opposite, the fact that this footage lacks a
Oh
camera
shit, where does that go?
like the other two videos. All of the elements are different. This video was 100% recorded by a surveillance camera on a different house in the area.
Doesn't make sense, but I guess it'll work.
Somewhere else after the incident. But where? I spent hours exploring the length and breadth of Ogden Avenue, searching for a pair of houses that match these two to figure out where the footage was captured. I wanted to find two adjacent homes that matched those in the third video.
Alright, let's
But
see
all
here.
of the homes are idiosyncratic, with distinct and unique features. But even after scrutinizing all of them, I just couldn't find a match. I went to bed feeling
God, look how many fucking frames I've drawn.
I realized I may have been searching the wrong place.
No.
One road across from Ogden, on the opposite side of the track, you'll find 3677 and 3683 Adams Avenue. Notice how all of their elements are exactly the same as those seen in the
I
security
gotta go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
windows.
BRB.
The slight jutting of the house, the white paneling, the shape of the roofs, the chain link fence, the same dried bushes, the tire tracks, the homes opposite. This is most definitely where the third clip was recorded. And the camera? It's right there. I've mapped it, and we now know that suspect 1 ran 116 and leapt 3 fences immediately after raiding Carl's home. He then stood looking up and down Adams Avenue for the better part of 30 seconds, and then returned the way he had come. But why? Well, I have a few ideas. Please bear in mind, this is all speculative, and I'd love to hear your theories too, so please, leave them in the comments.
Oh, damn, it's 9:30 already.
We know the home invasion that
Boy.
his stepbrother left for the store, so the trio
I'll have to
argued
make
that the
dinner
hostage was
soon.
because the tenants no longer had a strong numbers advantage, or because the suspects didn't want drugs
Soup
and/or
I have
stepbrother
prepared.
present during the incident. Maybe because one of them would have recognized them, for example. As we know,
It's what I call white boy pho.
only gone for 10 minutes.
It's pretty close to
The
pho.
car raid was conducted in the
I got the
first
rice
room
noodle
when
technique down.
Assuming there were a few
I just need the right seasonings to make it more pho-like.
before the breach,
Where'd my pen
it
go?
may well have only lasted a few minutes. So, picture this. The trio was startled by Brock's sudden reappearance.
8:30?
His vehicle pulls up outside the property.
What time zone could that be?
And the three suspects scatter
You
out
are in the North Pole, aren't
on a
you?
sinking ship. In a panic, suspect 2 and 3 take off in their getaway vehicle, leaving suspect 1.
Yeah, so just picture pho. You know, hopefully you know what pho is.
His way along the
Vietnamese noodle soup.
calls or messages his accomplices for a pickup.
PM.
He hears a car pass along Adams
How is it
Avenue and
8:30?
leaps the fence to check if it's his comrades. While he nervously stands,
Because I'm in Washington. You can't get any more West Coast than Washington State.
to meet them back on the track.
Unless you're in Alaska or something. What time zone is Alaska in?
The west entrance of said track.
Wait, you probably are in Alaska if you're isolated in the north.
Missed the intruders.
Or maybe you're not even American.
Scenario 2. The plan initially was just the whole car and his roommates.
You're Santa Clausian, I knew it.
Or both. Inside, something goes wrong.
Basic foods? Pho's pretty basic, actually.
Kyle recognizes one of them.
It's just the broth
Gets
is
the better of them.
so good.
Whatever the reason. Suspect 1.
You got noodles and chicken or beef,
In a
couple
Suspect 2 and 3 scatter.
toppings,
Suspect
basil.
1 fend for himself.
Alaska.
He
Haha.
finishes off the remaining victims, realizes he's been abandoned, and tries to make contact with his partners in crime.
I never knew that Alaska was just an hour behind
I personally do think it's possible that Carl tried to protect his
Pacific
friends from himself
Standard.
from fire.
I had no idea.
As his uncle would later state, Kyle would stand up for people. If someone took a run at someone, he would be right there. He was only 5'5" or 5'6", but he acted like he was 7 feet tall in those situations. Scenario 3. There was a poor
When I picture Alaskan jobs, because you mentioned getting a good job,
vacation after the raid,
I just picture people doing shit with fish.
while suspects 2 and 3.
I know that's not the case. I know there's all kinds of industries, but
Scenario 4.
I just picture
The reports
fish.
vary. Many of them mention B, the friend or other tenant, being present at 3636 when the raid occurred. He reportedly escaped the scene on foot without being hit. If true, then this footage could have an even darker context. Namely, that suspect 1 was attempting to hunt down B before he could get away and summon help. Unable to find him.
Okay, how in the hell am I gonna do this?
Accomplices. If we can get some confirmation that B was at the house when this all went down, I'd be inclined to call this the most likely explanation. The last thing I want to examine is the vehicle that drives along Adams Avenue. Depending on whether it was the suspect's getaway vehicle or not, completely changes the context of the video. Interestingly, we get a decent look at its silhouette when it passes in front of this white car. Judging by its outline, it appears to be a dark-colored 4x4 truck.
It's funny, I'm also picturing southern Alaska is
Which
like
dips down into the bed here.
southern temperature, but that can't be the case. Unless it is, but I don't think so. I don't know about that, unfortunately for you guys.
Revisiting the Van Komen household on Google Maps, we can see that
Okay.
in August 2015, a black or dark grey Nissan Titan was parked in their driveway. The fact that a very similar
Maybe I shouldn't have deleted all those frames.
is striking. And it could of course be a coincidence, with a fellow neighbour.
Let's see,
also
when did I
parked on a
delete them?
similar looking truck. But if this vehicle in the driveway belonged to Brock Van Komen or his stepbrother, then this footage could show the two returning from the store moments after the suspects fled the house. Indeed, one of the perps may have asked the victims where Brock and his stepbrother had
Damn.
gone, and when told that they'd popped a soul,
What the hell are people doing all the way out there?
suspect one may have gone on the lookout. There is, however, another possibility.
Do you drive like snowmobiles around?
This footage did
Is it like
not
that kind of
belong to
Arctic?
his stepbrother, but was the same one parked outside 3636 on Google Maps, making it the vehicle of one
Oh,
of the boys'
there is no frame between.
friends. Someone who'd come to visit them in August 2015. Someone who drove the getaway vehicle in December 2016. Perhaps the vehicle of one of these three. I'm just spitballing scenarios, as there's very little footage to work with, and few theories being discussed online. But given that Suspect 1 left the fence of a property so far from 3630,
I feel like Washington State is just like
there was some confusion in the aftermath of the massacre.
kindergarten, Alaska.
Scott Radigan's case, I don't believe these people are particularly intelligent.
Like, you know, we got bears, it's kind of wild up here, but
I'd wager that in all that time,
it's not like
one of them
Alaska.
talked about this event to somebody. Maybe bragged about how they robbed homes in the South Ogden area. in their
Which I've
travels.
never been.
Unfortunately,
But I would like to
the
visit.
investigation into this case has stagnated, and the police are still hesitant to release more information to avoid compromising the case.
Okay,
Most likely in the
that
wrong
can't
place
be
at the
there.
wrong time. Investigators remain confident that the three perps knew either Carl Van Kuma or one of his housemates, and were prepared to end their lives for material gain.
Oh my god, I'm
They
so
also know
close.
that someone must know who they are, or at least have some information to share. If that's you, you've been silent for 7.5 years. It's time to speak.
Washington is very nice.
You don't know these people anything, but you do owe Carl and Kevin's families the truth.
I'd say it's my
Offering
favorite
disclosure by contacting the South
biome
You can even do so
that I've lived in, at least.
SouthOgdenCity.com. The information you share. However,
Luckily, I live in a very
will lead detectives
heavily forested area, so I can go 5 minutes in any direction. I'm pretty much in the woods.
until all of his younger children were home.
Like in
Now
pretty
left on all the time.
wild wooded area too.
To this day, they
Like
were
if I just go that way,
said JJ.
it's a pretty large area of just trees and shit.
Can be turned off.
And then there's a mountain right over there. There's a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of lakes around here. I got Seattle about an hour away.
Making YouTube videos is having control over my own schedule. No long commutes, no rigid office hours. I get to decide when and where I get things done. But that also
Alright, how the hell am I gonna draw this? Whoa.
like mailing out documents, invoices, and packages. That can be a huge time drain, which is where today's sponsor, Stamps.com, comes in. With Stamps, you can take care of all of your mailing and shipping needs, anytime, anywhere. Sending out important business documents? Stamps.com gives you access to the USPS and UPS services you need. Shipping a product from your online store? You can schedule a package pickup from the Stamps.com dashboard. Everything can be done right from your computer or even your phone through the Stamps.com.
Yeah, I lived in Seattle for
with every major marketplace and shopping cart for your
about 8 years or so.
Stamps also make sure you're getting the best shipping.
In like a
They're
very
really positive.
populated area of Seattle.
You get to access exclusive discounts, like up to 88% off USPS and UPS rates.
And every time I go back now, I'm like, how the fuck did how did I live here? How did I operate in this like constant fucking noise and just crazy shit going on all the time? And it's like, oh well,
Just go to stamps.com.
I was in my 20s and that kind of shit was fun. But yeah, I like it in the quiet area
Born
now.
in 1954, Rosario Endrina grew up in a relatively poor household. Thanks to her high IQ, good looks, and bubbly personality though, Charo, as she preferred to be called.
Got a little more freedom.
She married a man
Like I can just go out here and shoot firearms.
They welcomed their daughter
No one will think twice about it.
to the world. Thanks to her fluency in foreign
We have a local cougar
languages, herself a well-paying
stomping around the woods somewhere.
Rita.
Apparently eating people's livestock. It's claimed a few animals.
A Frenchman named Jean. Jean got Charo hooked on cocaine.
Cougars are a whole different thing in the city.
Her fondness for the substance.
I have encountered them in the wild many times.
She would go on to lose her job.
And I've fallen victim to their games before.
On the streets of Paris, leaving her with nothing but a lifelong addiction to remember him.
But I was just a young fool back then.
Charo returned to Barcelona and tried to reconnect with her husband and daughter, but by that point they had turned their back on her. Now homeless, now jobless, Charo would spend the next 5 years alone.
I'll do some
sleeping
cheating.
inside a
Just
hatchback
gonna
of a
make it
festival.
some false interpolation here.
The bank was located in the
So it'll
Atlas
look
Town,
like it's slamming down.
and Charo had once worked there before falling on hard times. In the early hours
I mean, I'm sure you've got
of 2005, and
all
50
kinds of wild
was
animals
again sleeping on a bed of cardboard in
creeping
the
around you.
booth. At about 1:30 a.m., two 18-year-olds whom she had never met
One cougar isn't all that crazy
and Oriole Glenn entered the booth and began to
compared to like moose.
They kicked her, threw garbage at her, and struck her with a plastic bottle and a chocolate bar. After which, the two men went outside to find more items to hit her with. This photo captured the moment that Charo managed to lock them both outside of the vestibule.
You ever been run up on by a
Before they
moose?
got inside, the men
Oh, that shit would be terrifying.
This was unfortunately far from the first time that
Only neighbors now? Ugh, gross. I'd take a cougar over neighbors any
by
day.
territorial homeless people and angry drunks. As such, she knew that calling the police wouldn't achieve anything, and so, now believing herself to be safe, Charo
Okay,
simply
so-
lay down and went back to sleep. Several hours later, at 4:20 a.m., the 16-year-old named Juan
What is
Jose
going on
knocked
here?
the dude's door and told Charo that he needed to use the ATM. Charo let him in, unaware that Juan Jose was in cahoots with Ricard and Oriol. This image of Charo opening
Oh
the door
god,
is the
what?
last of that
How am I
Ricard
supposed to
alone.
interpret this?
Juan Jose, Ricard, and Oriol entered the booth and began mocking and attacking Charo once again. Ricard and Juan Jose then left briefly. Men, 30 minutes later, returned with 25 liters of Universal Thinner 039, an industrial paint thinner. As owner of the door,
The nice thing about a moose is you don't have to worry about it judging you.
the flammable substance. Ricard then ignited
Like, you can look crazy in front of a moose, and it doesn't matter.
the scene, laughing as Charo was engulfed in flames that burned at 400
As long as you're from a,
degrees Celsius.
you know, like a good distance.
Firefighters arrived at the scene shortly thereafter,
The neighbors are like watching you.
with 70% of her body covered in burns.
You know what I mean.
8 hours later, while receiving treatment. The whole incident was captured by one of the bank's surveillance cameras. The footage sparked nationwide outrage in Spain, and the attackers were quickly identified and arrested. Once in custody, Ricard and Oriol were severely beaten by other inmates, and one of them had their heads shaved. Juan Jose's case was handled by the juvenile court. During their trial, Ricard and Oriol's defense team attempted to downgrade their charge from murder to manslaughter, claiming the fire was started accidentally.
If I should just trace that one, would it make
Especially when the
sense?
prosecution revealed videos found on Ricard's phone. Videos which showed the trio attacking and humiliating other homeless people. As would come to light, the three defendants were ideologically opposed to homelessness, but rather than try and help the less fortunate through charitable means,
Ah.
they decided they wanted to simply wipe them from the streets of Spain. In November 2008, Ricard and Oriol were each given a 17-year sentence for intentionally ending Charo's life, while Juan Jose received 8 weeks behind bars and 5 years of supervised release. Given this incident occurred more than 18 years ago, all three of them are now free men.
God, this is a wreck.
In fact, Ricard was released early in 2016, having served just 11 years. He justified
Maybe I
the
should
fact
just...
by saying he was insecure and had low self-esteem, and claims to feel extreme remorse.
My hand's pretty much in the same spot. I could just
Charo's daughter, Santal, has since expressed
copy that
they didn't
frame.
do more than just to end Charo's life that day. They also destroyed any chance of the mother and daughter reconciling. Perhaps, on a day like today, my mother could have decided to accept help and become again the woman she had once been. But that opportunity was taken away from her.
Do you have, like, pho in Alaska? By the way, this is a question I ask anybody from any country or anywhere else. Do you have Vietnamese restaurants that serve pho?
Described by those who knew him as a ray of sunshine, Dylan Redwine was a friendly,
Because I'm telling you, it's a pretty good fucking meal when it's cold out.
Southwest Colorado, with his elder brother Corey and his parents.
And it's so good, it's even good when it's hot out.
Dylan was a huge fan of practical jokes, Xbox, the great outdoors, and baseball. But most of all, he loved just being a goofball. His nearest and dearest said that he had a high-pitched giggle that would set everyone else off laughing,
Oh, too bad that last frame's drawn all fucked up.
except his father. A man of few emotions, aside from anger, Mark cast a dark cloud over the red wine.
God,
Constantly
God,
arguing
what
with
the...
his wife Elaine and losing his temper. This resulted in the couple getting a divorce. A messy divorce.
What is this doing on my
Mark
screen?
moved out to the outskirts of
Gah.
Durango in La Plata County, and Elaine, Corey, and Dylan began a new life in Colorado Springs. Elaine eventually met a new partner, Mike, who proved to be a good role model for her boys. On November 18, 2012, Dylan, who was just 13 at the time, flew to Durango by himself to spend Thanksgiving at Mark's cabin. It was a trip he made against his will. Having seen the way that he had treated his mother during divorce proceedings, Dylan couldn't help but feel uncomfortable in Mark's presence. Not to mention, he and his brother had flown out to Mark's cabin a year prior and had a terrible time, having seen a side of their father that they had never witnessed before.
Don't need that.
We'll get to in a bit. The night before he was due to fly out, Dylan had a sleepover with a close friend, Joseph, who noticed Dylan wasn't his usual happy-go-lucky self. He really didn't want to go, Joseph recalled. I could see the fear inside his eyes. But Dylan's personal feelings counted for naught. A judge had granted Mark visitation rights, and he insisted on seeing his son. His older brother, Corey, had also been invited, but as a 19-year-old with personal autonomy, he chose not to join Dylan, a decision that haunts him to this day. These images show Dylan arriving at the Durango-La Plata County Airport at 5:46 p.m.
Oh, this needs to
just before he
be...
met his father. From there, the pair stopped by a local Walmart to pick up some DVDs.
Did you leave, Gongoozler? You left me all alone.
7:05 p.m. by the store security camera is the last known image showing Dylan Redwine alive. After leaving the shop, the pair picked up some McDonald's at a drive-thru and headed to Mark's isolated cabin in the wilderness. Upon arrival, Dylan asked to spend the night at a nearby friend's house. Mark refused. In secret, Dylan had arranged to meet with that same friend at 6:30 a.m. the following morning. Not one
Wow, that's that much fucking weird.
At 6:46 a.m., that same friend sent a text to Dylan, asking where he was. He didn't receive a response. At 5 p.m. on the 19th, Mark went to the marshal's office and reported Dylan missing. He claimed that when he left the house to run some errands that morning, he had left his son sleeping on the couch, and when he had returned, Dylan was nowhere to be found. A thorough search and rescue effort turned up no trace of Dylan anywhere. Not in the forests, not in the canyons, not in the mountains. Strangely, Mark chose not to join the search that first night, opting to go to bed instead of going out with a flashlight to look for his son. Still, in the subsequent months, he did make numerous TV appearances, appealing for information about Dylan's whereabouts, and professing that he was willing to do whatever it took to bring his son home. He even announced publicly that the police could search his cabin. Well, they took Mark up on that offer, and in doing so, found a few drops of Dylan's blood in the living room. Mark explained this away, saying that it came from a football injury. That sounded plausible, but detectives decided to have Mark take a polygraph test, just to put their mind at ease. He failed miserably. Specifically,
God, that looks like shite.
do you know where Dylan is? The machine flagged him for deception. But polygraph tests are only 80 to 90% accurate, and with no conclusive evidence of foul play, the investigators were forced to let
So
him
let's see what it looks like.
One person who was 100% convinced
We'll
that
check it.
was Dylan's mother, Elaine. Both parents later appeared on the Dr. Phil show together, with Elaine accusing Mark of knowing more than he was letting on, and Mark placing the blame on Elaine, saying that Dylan wasn't happy and that he had likely run away. Corey also appeared on the show and outright accused his father of killing Dylan. Despite denying any involvement in his son's disappearance, Mark refused to take a second polygraph test on the show. The search for Dylan continued for months, with law enforcement conducting wide-scale searches of Middle Mountain and the Lake Vallecito Reservoir. Finally, on June 25, 2013, searchers found his partial remains in a remote area just 8 miles from Mark's cabin, 100 yards off a secluded dirt road. Dylan's skull wouldn't be discovered until November 2015, about a mile and a half from where the rest of his remains were found. An examination revealed that he had lost his life after being struck on the cranium with a blunt object. This was the breakthrough the authorities had been waiting for. Confirmation that Dylan was the victim of a homicide. A more thorough forensic examination of Mark's home revealed traces of Dylan's blood all over the living room. On the carpet, on the sofa, on the corner of a coffee table, on a love seat, and under a rug. Cadavador also
I don't
took
like that it's
the
higher
center
than the last one.
not only in the living room, but also in the back of Mark's
I don't know if it'll look right.
Mark was taken into custody.
Only one way to find out.
2017. Due to delays and rescheduling,
And that is to
the case wouldn't go to trial
trust
until 2021.
the process.
Perhaps the most sickening thing that came out during the trial was Mark's alleged motive for killing his son. 1 year before Dylan disappeared, he and his brother Corey had paid a visit to their father's cabin. While browsing through Mark's laptop, they came upon some disturbing images. Photos which showed their father wearing makeup, a wig, and red lingerie, eating what appeared to be human feces out of a used diaper, and another shots wearing that same diaper himself. Both boys instantly lost whatever respect they still had for their father. Corey snapped a photo of the screen with his mobile. During a heated text argument with Mark, the elder brother, Corey, revealed that he had seen the photos. Hey kid, you are what you eat. Look in the mirror. Both enraged and humiliated, Mark warned Corey not to speak of those images to anyone, especially his younger brother. He was unaware Dylan had already seen them. From there, Corey decided he didn't want anything to do with his father
Don't look right.
and began calling him Mark instead of Dad.
That just don't look right.
Unfortunately, due to the court mandate, Dylan was unable to sever all ties with his father, as Corey had done.
Okay, where's my actual
When
knuckle?
the matter's life came to an end, Dylan had sent Corey a series of text messages. Mark was apparently berating Elaine and her new partner, saying we weren't good role models. Dylan asked Corey to send over those images of their father, the ones of him with the diaper. He wanted to confront Mark about them personally, to ask him where he got off calling other people bad role models, to say that he was one to talk. After receiving the photos, the prosecution argued that Dylan did just that. Mark then realized that Dylan not only knew about the photos, but had copies of them, which he could
It
use
might
as a
work.
weapon against them. In a moment of rage-fueled madness, he took his own son's life right there in the living room, disposed of him in 2 separate locations, and spent hours cleaning up the scene before reporting him missing. Mark's first ex-wife, Betsy, with whom he had 2 children, testified that during their divorce and custody proceedings, he had told her, quote, "I'll kill the kids before I let you have them." He had also mentioned that Middle Mountain would be the perfect place to hide a body. The defense tried to argue that Dylan had actually run away and had been eaten by wild animals, but the jury wasn't buying it. After 6 hours of deliberation, they unanimously concluded that Mark was guilty of 2nd degree. On October 8, 2021, he was sentenced to the maximum term of 48 years behind bars. Dylan shouldn't have met with that terrible fate back in 2012. He should have been able to choose not to go to Durango. He should have been able to
Is it
grow
my
up.
thumb or my knuckle?
He should have been celebrating his 25th birthday today, February 6th,
Oh yeah, that's my thumb.
2024. But instead,
That's why that one looks all weird.
by someone
Because that
he
should be
should have been
separated.
able to trust. Tamaulipas, a Mexican state just across the border from Texas. One that's long been a battleground between warring cartels, vying for control of smuggling routes into the US. Back in the early to mid-2010s, the 2 predominant factions were the Gulf Cartel and their former associates, Los Zetas, a syndicate known for its immense scale and unrivaled brutality. When it came to their business strategy, the Z's, as they were known, employed shock and awe tactics, indiscriminately slaughtering anyone who opposed them. That included Gulf Cartel members, with whom they had daily shootouts, then, unfortunately, innocent journalists who spoke out against their actions. Despite being as unsubtle as a bullet through a window, by publishing their own snuff videos online for the world to see, the cartels, and Los Zetas in particular, hated negative publicity. They enjoyed being feared, but not criticized. As such, if a reporter blamed the state's unusually high crime stats on the cartels, there's a good chance they'd be added to the figures themselves, either winding up dead in a ditch, or disappearing from the face of the earth. It's no wonder that so many media companies began turning a blind eye to cartel activities altogether, much to the frustration of the good people of Tamaulipas. Without regular news
Oh,
updates,
you're back.
many innocent bystanders found themselves wandering into the cartel's line of fire, both metaphorically and literally.
The
One
nephew
person who
is
was
asleep.
was the creator of
Now
Facebook,
we can party.
Paulo Tamaulipas, or in English, Courage for Tamaulipas.
You didn't miss much.
Founded on January 1st, 2012, by an anonymous user and an
I
only.
promise you that.
The page shared information about cartel-related violence across the state of Tamaulipas and provided security updates
You missed
to
maybe
local
2
residents.
frames.
With over 500,000 followers and a sizable Twitter presence, Paulo por Tamaulipas, or for the sake
Red
of
Bull,
it,
damn.
BPT, regularly uploaded
Trying to stay up all night.
crime scenes and reported on drug-related violence, named and shamed corrupt police officers, and uploaded images of alleged criminals.
Alright, see what this shit looks like.
They also warned their audience about roadblocks, arsons, and human trafficking incidents, with the aim of raising awareness among the populace, finding the missing, and bringing cartel members to justice. You can about the cartel's brutality, and anyone who's seen Funky Town knows that they've earned that reputation. Some of the pictures on BPT are equally as grotesque, and not for the faint of heart. So, for obvious reasons, I won't be showing them here. And don't
French roast coffee, that sounds good.
But unlike most people online, the admin wasn't posting those photos to shock his audience.
I haven't had coffee in a long time, actually.
When no one else would. With mainstream Mexican
One day I ran out of coffee,
due to fears of
like
reprisals,
2 years ago,
BPT became a popular platform for
and I had tea, and I was like, I'll just drink the tea.
only source of news about what was happening at any
But I haven't gone back to coffee since then.
many
And now I buy like
to check
ginseng
their
oolong tea and
find out where carjackings had occurred.
fucking
See anyone, maybe even a loved one.
mate leaf.
The admin was known to be active around the clock.
But I'll tell you what,
sharing whatever details he could, whenever he
I might buy some coffee soon.
As you can imagine, the cartel
'Cause it
were
is
less
good.
than pleased with them.
Tea is good, but coffee's good too. I could switch it off. I'm gonna do that.
Life expectancy down to about
Do coffee one day, then tea the next day.
The admin took every precaution to remain anonymous.
I'm excited for this
That
now.
didn't stop the cartels from replying to his posts with death threats, of course, assuring him that his days were numbered. In early 2013, Los Zetas began circulating flyers, offering a reward of 600,000 pesos to anyone who revealed the identity of BPT's admin.
I guess
or
that
any
frame
of
just
his
doesn't work.
be they his parents, siblings, wife, or children.
Unless
Unshaken, the
I do
admin
something
took the
drastic like
and replied
this.
directly to the thugs through a public post.
Check this out.
I'm not playing the hero. I'm doing what I have to do as
I'm
a
gonna do a
citizen,
little cheating here. I'm Will Sneaker.
even if it costs me my life. The admin did assure his followers that his wife and children had moved to the US for their own safety, but told them that he was remaining in Tamaulipas.
So that way it looks more like it's traveling down.
A video began circulating online. One showing a man, allegedly a collaborator of the admin's, kneeling with his hands in his pockets. Next to him stood a masked figure in camouflage, holding a firearm. The kneeling
Needs to be
man
higher up.
Please refrain from publishing any information. If not, this is the
Shit,
price
where
you
was
pay.
that?
After warning internet users against collaborating with BPT, the gunman fired a single shot into the man's head. In response, the admin left a message on Facebook stating that
Like
he
up
didn't
there?
recognize the man in the video and wouldn't speculate about its authenticity.
Up
The
there?
message was clear, and was only made clearer on October 15th, 2014. In the early hours of that morning, the co-admin of BPT's sister page, Rosario Fuentes, was kidnapped. He had tweeted the location of a shootout so that her followers could avoid it, and one of the cartel members realized that she was a doctor who worked in a clinic nearby. Following her capture, the men holding her
Okay, I
logged
gotta
into Rosario's Twitter account,
fucking
where
draw
followers
that
knew her
hand in
was
now.
near Drake, and made several tweets.
We'll just copy that framework right there.
My real name is Maria del Rosario Fuentes Rubio. I'm a doctor, and today my life has come to an end. The account then shared before and after photos of Rosario, one of her being held alive, and another of her corpse. Her killers changed her profile picture to the after photo. The final tweet to appear from her read, "A bandolera 7 at Civil Armando at Valor, Tamaulipas.
Why does that look so weird?
Death is closer to us than you think. Close your accounts. Don't risk your families the way I did. I ask you all for forgiveness." By the time Twitter deactivated the account, the images had already been widely circulated. The admin confirmed Rosario's death on Facebook and expressed his deep sorrow over the incident. He stated that she had been a long-time collaborator of BPT and had saved countless lives, not just as a doctor, but as an anonymous citizen journalist. In December 2014, the admin announced his retirement from social media, stating in a
I don't know. How does that look?
"In my case, organized crime.
There's not enough.
But it
I'm
has only
finna.
defeated me, and not society. It has not defeated the thousands of contributors who trusted this page and made reports despite their own fears." He also announced that the page would remain active and was being handed over to
Maybe I'll just take that frame out.
connections in law enforcement.
Looks great. Jeez, that's
In the
flattering,
comment
but
section of the post, many users thanked the admin for his service.
I'm just
and
gonna
expressed concerns about the new management's potential ties to the government. The page was later
try
closed by
this real
Facebook,
quick.
likely for posting graphic content, but was relaunched shortly thereafter.
Yeah, it looks way better.
It's a Rosario Fuentes memorial page. Its last update.
That looks like it's got more power into it. Bam!
The
Bam!
reason the page
Yes!
remains unknown. Many suspect, or at least hope, that the admin reunited with his family.
But now I feel like the pause in the air should be more dramatic.
in a less tumultuous setting. His identity remains unknown to this day, and I never thought I'd say this, but I truly hope that's a mystery that will never be solved.
God damn it.
Bait and switch means, whether
Ah.
you're familiar with the term or not, if you grew up in the golden age of the internet, then chances are you
Dang, it's
probably
10:07
did it
already?
once. It's the
Alright,
stretch
Kira, I gotta go.
video
I gotta start making din.
and then delivering something else entirely, usually something annoying,
Or
disgusting,
heating up dinner because it's already prepared.
To give some examples. on the
Alright,
other
well,
spectrum,
that was fun.
talking things like Rickrolling. The next tier up would be those
Hopefully I'll see you next time.
videos and flash games
Enjoy your
that
night.
gave us all our first heart attack.
Thank you for
Maybe
stopping by.
Or the maze game, for instance. The
Cheers.
next level above that would be the